Hi, John. How are you?
Good. How are you, Lisa?
I'm so good. I am so thankful that you're on today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you even asking.
Well, it's so funny because we connected on LinkedIn, I think, and we're like, we need to meet each other. And I said, well, let's not do coffee. Let's do a podcast.
Let's just jump right in. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I've been following your content for a while and saw lots of synergy there. So I was pretty jazzed up when you reached out. So
Yeah, so you're all about people and places and performance.
absolutely.
Which is really similar. So obviously this makes sense.
100%. 100%. We're excited to share our story to the world, and we launched about 7 months ago this past September.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So launched. Tell me what you launched.
We launched the official brand of Evrsphere. So Evrsphere, we are a sustainability consultancy with a focus on human health within the built environment. Through sustainable design practices and integrating different sustainable data-driven solutions into construction and design, we're able to help create more resilient spaces. Kind of in a post-COVID world, we see a lot of these empty buildings, and it's like, what do you do next? You know, in a corporate setting, the days of free coffee and free parking and some kombucha or IPAs on tap are kind of over, let's face it. So how do we attract people to come back to spaces and places and activate them and reignite to really create a healthier ecosystem for the world ahead, truly?
So are other people in this space doing these kinds of things?
Correct. Yeah, there are a lot of different sustainability consultancies throughout the world, really.
Okay.
But our focus is really on creating healthy spaces.
Okay.
So more that human-centric approach to space. I come from the commercial furniture and design world where, you know, I was selling architectural solutions, technology, and furniture to help create more productive, inspiring places for people to work, learn, heal, and play. So I kind of saw kind of a niche opportunity in the marketplace to take it to the next level. And we launched Evrsphere. We have a business partner, and we're teaming up here and really trying to create healthy spaces, our niche focus.
So tell me how this idea even came to be. Were you sitting at a coffee shop, or what was the inspiration?
How much time do you have?
Well, we have about 30 minutes.
No, absolutely. So kind of a little background, which it all adds up to, and the more I've thought about this in the last month or so, it really adds up to why we created Evrsphere. So I'm from a small town called Harmony, Minnesota, in southeast Minnesota, population about 1,000 on a good day.
Never heard of it.
We have Amish bike trails and a big cave called the Niagara Cave. And it's been a tourist town. It's actually one of 4 cities in the world that will pay you to move there, to develop the local community. Harmony was in Forbes. Little shout out to Harmony, Minnesota, which is pretty cool because we have a family-owned recycling manufacturing company. My family does.
Oh.
4th generation. We started off back in the 60s making ice shacks. So we really wanted to develop a community for people to have jobs, come to small town USA, work, and have a career that you typically wouldn't have in a small town.
Did your parents grow up there too?
Correct. My dad did. My mom is from out of state.
Okay.
They moved here about 35 years ago. In the mid-90s, made ice shacks to hydraulics, and that shifted to recycling. So in about 1993, we got a fax from company Taiwan when my dad had taken over the company saying we're looking for balers and compactors. And at the time, we're like, okay, well, you have a lot of plastic and cardboard. So that was the evolution of Harmony Enterprises on a global scale. So now we have a data-driven, sustainable products that help with waste management, sustainability goals, et cetera, but very data-driven in about 90 countries throughout the world.
Wow.
Which
a Little Harmony.
Little Harmony, Minnesota, which, the city is like, this is awesome, People have really cool jobs, you're evolving, you're growing, and how do we attract more people to come here? So come build a home, city will pay you $20,000 cash to build, and work at a company like Harmony Enterprises. My mom actually developed a child care learning center, part of his company, because we saw, there was a missing for childcare. So how do we have all these people move here, work here, and also live a happy life? So it was fun. I got to be part of the project. My sister designed it, I furnished it. We had other siblings on the graphic design side of things. So really kind of developing that development focus from a young age. I always thought it was very interesting. I was like, this is really cool. We have a lot of famous people that come through Harmony, Minnesota, and we have product that serves, like I said, about 90 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they the mayor? And are they? Do they own the town? Or
No. I mean, you have to come down and check it out. They love giving tours.
I'd love that.
But yeah, it's about 2.5 hours south of here, and I've always been very proud of where I'm from.
Yeah.
And the company that's really evolved and grown, and I said, fourth generation. My dad's going to be retiring. He's the active CEO. He's retiring this May. So my brother's the president. I sit on our board of directors and manage our team in Europe. So I had this focus of, you know, greener, cleaner, healthier spaces, but really more coming from the interiors of space on my side and seeing the exteriors they're focusing on more, you know, greener worlds and energy savings, et cetera.
Sure.
And I knew that I wanted to grow the business, but do it in a very unique way. And that was kind of the evolution of Evrsphere, where, you know, we want to focus on creating healthy spaces because family business is focusing on creating a healthier world. Let's focus on the people aspect. I always joke that I don't have the patience to become a doctor, maybe not the skills either, but I absolutely love helping people. I really do. I've always been that person, want to be EMT, want to do all the things. But I saw throughout COVID myself too, I was so sick of sitting inside by myself. So, you know, some people, I was the one that would sneak into the office, downtown Minneapolis. I've lived downtown Minneapolis for about 6-7 years. And I was like, hey, is it okay if I just go sit there by myself? Because I need the space to activate my brain. And I flip on the lights and I jam out. And, you know, that's where I do my best work from a creative side of things. I have the attention span of a goldfish. So you leave me in my apartment for that long, it's not going to work too well. So
I love it.
Yeah, it really just kind of drove me to developing this brand with my business partner. And we launched, and we've got some very unique data-driven solutions to help activate space.
So tell me more about that. Like, how do you fit in with contractors and tenants and architects and furniture people? Like, where do you fit in?
Absolutely. So yeah, in a perfect world, we'd love to start with a global developer and take that drive, the vision of the client, and really drive it to wherever their dreams really fall within regions of the country, the world, or whatever that may entail. So within building and designing, we have very unique products really driven around well building certifications. You know, I feel like everyone knows about LEED, but well really inspired me throughout COVID. Because I was like, these folks, you know, are really trying to focus on the human-centric approach to space.
Right.
You know, how can we help the people inside the building?
Okay.
Because without people in a building, you don't have tenants and you don't have anyone paying. You know what I mean? It's kind of a domino effect.
It's really interesting because your family created community in a small town, and now we're trying to figure out how to create community again in the big towns, in the big city, where people have kind of gone home, and now how do we create that community again so that all the businesses and retailers and all the surrounding areas can thrive again?
Absolutely. My dream was out of college, you know, I want to move to downtown Minneapolis, work for Target, and I saw a sales position, and I jumped on. Little did I know I'd be working for one of the largest steel case dealers in North America, and really had the ability to learn why we design space the way we do. I'm no designer by any means. I'll leave that up to my sister. She's on the residential side, dominates. But I was blessed to partner with some incredible designers and architects to really help drive spaces, to activate them, to make sure people are feeling, you know, collaborative and doing their best work. And I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but we would love for people to leave work feeling better than they did coming in.
Wow.
Which, like I said, kind of cheesy, but when I was told I couldn't go to work anymore, I bought a boat. That was silly. So it's like, you know, we need to get back to the office and do stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, figure out what that looks like. But we didn't, no one really knew what to do. And I feel like people still don't really know exactly what to do. So enter Evrsphere. We're investing in health. So creating healthy spaces for people to work, you know, learn, heal. And whatever that may be, we dabble in every vertical market out there, from corporate to healthcare. Within the well building standards, there's different concepts. So focusing on air quality. Blessed to partner with a very innovative partner in the air quality space. And being able to come into a building and saying, hey, we have a product that's FDA 510K approved to guarantee that you have the cleanest air possible. Because I don't know about you, but I walk into a space and, you know, sometimes you walk into buildings and it's like, it's a little musty in here. What's going on, you know?
For sure.
So how do we focus on, you know, creating different design practices within, you know, access to natural light, clean water, recycling, air quality, and different elements of nourishment to really help people feel better. So come to work, you know, we have our vertical farms, we'll grow together, we'll learn together, and at the same time, we can enter our different products into markets to help reduce the carbon footprint of the space too. So hey, building owner, we have a solution. We can come in for free, scan your space, and look to drop your energy usage by 12 to 18%. So therefore, you have more value in your building.
Wow.
It's more attractive, so you can invest more in amenities and different things like that.
Sure.
Bringing more innovative clients to want to be in your space, and therefore, building that momentum, that energy.
Wow.
So we create healthy spaces. Everything I just shared with you, and my business partner is going to laugh because I say this every single time. But when I left my job, had this vision of Evrsphere, and it's pivoted a lot. And I was having brunch with my sister and the kids, and hanging out with my goddaughter and 8-year-old niece at the time, and she goes, "Well, John, I heard you quit your job. You need some monies." And I was like, "Brookie."
The 8-year-old says this? Oh, my
Brookie,
goodness.
Bless your soul. I'm like, "No, we planned this out, She goes, okay, tell me about the business. And
The 8-year-old.
I mean, yes.
Wow.
She's always been surrounded by the entrepreneurial spirits between my dad and my mom and my sister and my other siblings too. And I mean, she's always been.
And you're really close to them.
Absolutely. And so I'm sitting there, and we're sipping on a bloody, and she's having a little French toast. We're hanging out, and I didn't even think she was listening because I'm literally just flapping away. And after I shared everything that we really just talked about, she goes, "I get it. You help make healthy spaces. And if you go to my website, that's the first thing you see." She really simplified of what we're trying to do. And I was like, "Well, I just paid a marketing company a ton of money for that." Enter Brooklyn. But it was great to see, someone at that age she's looking out for the future of her friends and, her life of, she goes, "Uncle John, I never want to be stuck at home that long ever again," referring to COVID.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Brooklyn, we're going to build an empire to make sure that never happens again."
Interesting.
So it really inspired me about, the youth of the future of the world. Like I don't have any kids. I don't even have a living plant at home. So pretty single and flexible, but we want people to be able to feel comfortable with the future and not be afraid to go to, whether it's a concert, a ball game, the office, whatever it may be, and reduce the anxieties of being in space and really diving into the mental health element of air pollution correlated to mental health. And really that human-centric approach. Like I said, I'm no doctor, but I love studying the design firms and blessed to work with some of the biggest ones in the world to really help drive those sustainable design practices. And when we talk sustainability, it's not just environmental. We're talking human sustainability. Why do we create spaces the way we do? Why do we have a palette of postures, different table heights, and different elements? I always joke, you put me in a corner in a cube with no access to natural light, I'm gonna last maybe 3 days.
I toured a space a couple weeks ago, and it was 10,000 square feet insurance space.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, it was like all cubes.
Yeah.
Like a sea of cubes with really no natural light. And I actually pictured people there like smoking too, right? Like just like the sea of cubes just smoking. And like what?
The sound of phones ring constantly every single workstation and high panel. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just not it. And
it's crazy that, that was a thing. And now we've evolved so much. And I think, having that space and really you have the ability to reimagine what life is like for people. It's not just going to work from 9 to 5 and doing your task and being, an employee. Like you're kind of like, I'm creating a life so that work is healthy.
Yeah, you're creating that ecosystem for yourself. And I feel like in sales too, you're running your own business within every job that I've had. I bussed tables and waited tables and bartended for like 13 years. And I swear, that is the fundamentals of running your own business. You're your own project manager, your own custodian, your own CP, everything. And every time we talk with people about potential hiring for sales, I always ask, have you ever worked in a restaurant? Truly.
Interesting.
I mean, for me, that was the drive, because if I'm not going to perform, I'm not going to make money.
Yeah.
I need to elevate the experience and really want people to feel comfortable being where they're at with me. Yeah. And that really just kind of drove to the vision of eventually creating Evrsphere, but really, trying to feed the world with healthy solutions and truly absolutely blessed to have some very unique product partners. We're actually going to be releasing 2 partnerships in the next few weeks here.
Really?
That are just very, very future driven, where we have the ability to come into a space, have sustainable products that actually make an impact, from healthy air to monitoring airflow to just a wide variety of different solutions. They're really driven around well buildings.
That's super interesting. So tell me about a project that has excited you.
Absolutely. This is one here locally. With just launching in September, we weren't able to be on it at the time, but But the North Loop Green
Okay.
here in the North Loop is a poster child of what we're trying to do. It is a well building, and they have different products within different sustainable solutions to really attract talent. So come here, live here across, the Skyway, work here, go to the gym here. You have everything you need within one building that's green driven, it's attractive, but it's also creating a community. The North Loop is popping, of course, absolutely love it. But how do you get a big corporate client to fit in the North Loop somewhere? Enter North Loop Green. So I've loved watching the development over the years, and seeing it, where it's at now. So that's a great representation of how all of our different partners and our solutions can really come together to help achieve something special and something different. Because you can have the tallest, coolest building in the world, but it's going to be expensive to run. It's a problem. If it's going to be, quote unquote, not very aesthetically pleasing inside, that's also a problem. I don't want to work there.
Right.
But, as being someone entering the job force out of college, why would you choose to work here versus here? Is it, they're paying me $4,000 more a year? Or, this place has everything I need. I can pull in, whether I have, the bus line right there, or the light rail, or parking. I can plug in my car to the EV charging station. I can go in, work out, have the gym. I have access to clean, great food, everything you need right there.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting world in a post-COVID kind of era. What does that look like?
Yeah. And do you have a vision of what you would like to accomplish kind of in the future, or what's your vision?
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in partnerships. And
sounds like it.
I've learned from day one, you can't do everything by yourself with Evrsphere. And this is the sustainability space is very interesting. It can get quite political. It can go from left to right and everywhere in between.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
My gosh, lessons learned.
It's not just a checkbox, right? Like people are sometimes doing it just to check a box versus actually feeling passionate about why they're doing it, right?
Absolutely. We're helping general contractors really integrate different sustainable business strategies into their daily practices. Because eventually one day clients or stakeholders are going to ask, what are you doing what are you doing for the people and planet? And how do you verify what you're actually doing? So that's where our data-driven solutions come about, where we have access to live data to prove, and I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but we're really trying to make the invisible visible through these different practices.
Sure.
I could sell you all these machines to make cleaner air, but I hope you believe me because it's legit. But people want to see the actual return on that.
Right.
So hey, X company, we're reducing the amount of sick days. That's huge. We're saving you a ton of money.
Very
really
tangible. That's giving the tangibles.
Yep, exactly.
That's interesting.
We can reduce your carbon footprint by 12 to 30, or 12 to 18%. And in the future, and it's already happening on the West Coast, East Coast, and very Europe-driven, our team, Harmony Europe in France, has been ahead of this for a long time, where we're focusing on the environmental, social, and governance issues of the world, but we're already prepared for what people are asking for. So really trying to translate that message of sustainable business strategies into our global organizations across the world that maybe don't want to get there yet, but think they probably should. So we're kind of that liaison where we're helping consult people and folks, and we're hey, this is what we're doing for organizations to make sure they have a green, clean presence.
So who typically hires you?
Kind of a wide range from construction firms to A&D, a lot of just clients direct.
The tenants,
correct.
Corporate tenants, probably corporate tenants mostly,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're dabbling quickly here into the cannabis world as well.
Great. Now you're taking me in a totally different direction.
Right?
Tell me about that.
We talked a lot about human sustainability, and attracting people. But, we have products that are FDA 510K approved as medical devices to help reduce mold and any pathogens. We can reduce 99.992% of all airborne pathogens in 1.2 seconds.
How does that relate to cannabis?
So if you're going to be growing cannabis, you have the cleanest air.
Why?
Can't have moldy pathogens or anything like that floating around. So if you have a bad strain in a growing application, you're out a ton of money. You can't be selling that.
Really?
And it's in Minnesota, that's evolving quite quickly. People are getting ready for next year to open those doors.
Right.
So these conversations have been active for quite some time, but it's something a little bit further out there, but we've learned that our products are really aggressive And we know going into this isn't for everyone. And it's more that niche focus of people that really want to invest in health and really what does health mean to you? In an educational setting, what is health? Is it your bottom line? Is it the health of your staff and the kids, the future of the world, or what is health? So it's been fun kind of, I don't want to say challenging people, but how do you value health? Is it your personal health, your financial health? What is that? And we can kind of tap in all of those different categories and curate a strategy to help check X, Y, and Z to make sure you're prepared for the future and to really show to the world that, hey, we do care about the people and the planet. And, I know there's a lot of buzzwords floating around, but really trying to dial
But
it
it's
back
real.
to,
It's not just the buzz.
We've-
It's not just, it's like you really passionately believe in that.
Absolutely.
And you want companies and partners that believe in that as well.
Absolutely. I mean, our Harmony Enterprise, we've made a big impact across the world and love seeing that grow. But it's like, what is the next step? We're focusing still on that, of course. But how can Evrsphere jump in and partner together to really help grow the interiors of space? So we've got strong arms on both sides, and as Brooklyn would say, we try to make healthy spaces.
Yeah. Wow, that's just perfectly simple. And her mom's a big time designer too, right? Your sister?
My sister has a residential design company called Bray Hamel Interiors, based out of St. Paul. And she started, she's going to quiz me, probably about 10 years ago, and has grown immensely all over the world, truly, which is awesome. And she also has a home good line called Brooke and Lou, named after her two kids, Louie and Brooklyn. So we can build you, I say we like I work there, we can build you a beautiful home, and design it and furnish it, but if it's not going to sustain the everyday life, or your kid's diaper blows out at brunch, or your dog pukes on the wall, or whatever that may be. So cleanable materials, wall coverings, all designed, wall coverings to name it, upholstery of any sort, all designed by her team, but manufactured to the way to sustain everyday life. So I told her a long time ago, this is kind of commercial driven. She goes, you stay over there and we'll stay over here. But it's been fun, really trying to grow the commercial line. It doesn't officially exist, but it's trademark life friendly.
Okay.
So all of our own, everything from candles to rugs to name it, anything to furnish a home.
What's her website?
BrayHamelInteriors.com and then brookandlou.com.
Both of them,
as well.
All right.
And then her and my dad had ventured in a small little development opportunity back in Harmony. So we can build you cost-effective, beautiful homes that you would never see in Harmony, that are a little bit unique, but also you have that 20K slipping your way from the city as well. So come here, move here, live a beautiful life and something you never would have imagined, and grow within your career. And it's been fun seeing people that I've known for forever really live their best life.
Wow. Is there a little downtown, or is there?
There's a little downtown.
Is there?
It's a great little, it's a fun town, honestly. There's days where I'm like, I'm going to go back to just busting tables and working. And the summers are crazy busy with the bike trails near Lanesboro.
Yeah.
Great restaurants
Really?
across the board. And just a very, very unique small town, truly. I mean, everyone is super future forward, but also has that home community base, which I feel will always live within me. And I love, like I said, I love helping people.
Yeah.
I still see people on the side of the road or car accidents, and I happen to be the first ones there.
What?
It's strange. It is weird. The amount of times I've been in emergency situations is absolutely freaking bizarre.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is, but I just happen to be there.
Wow.
So, really trying to communicate through our Evrsphere message that, we are trying to help people.
Yeah.
And not, of course, yes, we all want to be profitable and make money, but with our partners, we want to make an impact and actually help the world.
Sure.
And very strongly believe in that global vision and blessed to have those resources all over the world to help grow.
Yeah.
Spent a fair amount of time in Europe, and
Are other countries doing this better than we are?
oh my gosh, yes, we are
So
behind the curve.
Tell me
big
about
time.
that.
Europe is very far ahead from a sustainability standpoint, where
Okay.
their practices are already integrated to everyday life. And from a manufacturing perspective, I did dabble in the manufacturing side on the commercial flooring world for a little bit, so I was able to work on the dealer side to see how that works, but also the manufacturing. So from a manufacturing perspective, how are we building products and solutions that are actually sustainable for the world, from whether it's materials that you're using or the performance of the product themselves? How do we capture that and really curate a message, a data-driven solution to prove the ROI in investing in health? I mean, the numbers are out there in creating resilient spaces can help attract 12 to 15% XYZ. I mean, it's all out there, and I'm not going to get into numbers, but it's pretty unique. And the message is clear that, you know, healthy spaces attracts more people. And I don't know about you, I'm one where living downtown in the Skyways, I see someone sneeze in midair and I'm pivoting the other direction. I'm gone. Like, and you know, things like that where it's like, you know, if we had solutions built into the HVAC or whatever it may be to help alleviate the risk of getting sick, but also we're doing it in a sustainable design fashion that, you know, we're not overpowering spaces either.
Right.
So we're helping the business owners, you know, the tenants themselves, and everyone that plays a role within, you know, the overall construction of a space.
Wow.
From start to finish. So it's been fun, and you know, diving back into the methodology behind, you know, why we create spaces the way we do, people and places. And,
Thanks for the plug.
No, absolutely. The synergy, though, I mean, it's absolutely there, and it's been a blessing so far. And like I said, we've pivoted in the past few months on learning what works, what doesn't work, and we knew going into that Minneapolis and the Midwest is not our diehard focus.
Oh, really?
I mean, absolutely. And we want to be based out here to really pioneer that.
Okay.
But, you know, it's kind of hard to pioneer something when there's not a whole lot of interest. Of course, we're educating and consulting with people, but it takes some time. So working on opportunities East, West Coast driven and throughout Europe as well. And blessed to have that already going.
Wow.
And, but
so
really,
how do you market yourself all over the world?
Honestly, power of LinkedIn has been a blessing. How we met. But
yeah, thank
really,
you
I
for
mean,
that.
I spend probably more time on LinkedIn than I should. But it's been very powerful, engaging, contacting people, and having people reach out at the same time, wanting to learn more. I mean, I feel like I've never been able to sell a product that actually helps people save money and attract talent and different things like that. Typically, it's like, oh, here we go. This should do X, Y, and Z for you. And it's fun, actually, being able to help people.
See the metrics.
Yeah, exactly. And
like
it's
see the results, like actual
Exactly.
results, not
tangible.
just, not like I said, not just checking the box, not just like talking about, yeah.
So then we can give you your scorecard. You know, you've invested X, Y, Z, and we've reduced the amount of sick days by. It can go on, and I
Wow.
can really talk about this forever. But it's really fun to actually try to make an impact through our partners, and really have been blessed to network within our network. Surely, through the power of social media. Instagram, I will say our Instagram is a little soft right now, so we're working on that. But with just launching, we're building these projects. We're really trying to get the message out there through different social media channels and press releases and things like that too. But I'm excited to share a few things in the next 2 weeks that I know will help drive.
How are we going to find out about what those secret new things are?
Feel free to follow our LinkedIn, please. Instagram.
Okay.
I broadcast personally on my page and then through our Evrsphere page as well. And eventually we'll have our newsletters and things like that too. But it's been grind time, just building the message and the brand and meeting with people and really helping just share what we're doing. And we're open to feedback left and right, of course. But really, I knew going into this that this doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it's different.
Mm-hmm. And
it's really hard to sell different.
Exactly. I mean,
it's creating a new space that's it's hard to sell that.
It really is. And how do you really hone in on your message of what we're trying to do? Because we can do so many things, but we've learned that we have our different partners that can focus on those different categories that we can offer still. But who is Evrsphere and why are we doing what we're doing? And we're doing it to truly make an impact and try to create healthy spaces for people and come back to work, come back to school, whatever it may be. Fly, go travel, live your best life, but feel comfortable and not anxious that, oh my gosh, I caught something and I'm going home. Go home and turn off, do whatever you need. But I did listen to your podcast.
Okay.
The podcast that you were interviewed in.
Oh.
And I loved. I believe your father had said, you work from 9 to 5, and then you build wealth from 5 to 9.
Yep.
And
wow, that's impressive.
My business partner and I, we were listening to that yesterday, and we're like, wow, that's very powerful. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. I mean, there is no turning off for us, and working with clients all over the world. I mean, the sleeping's a little bit all over the place, which we love because we have those opportunities to engage with clients in Europe or Asia or whatever that may be, and just building upon that.
You've got a little bit of energy, and your positivity is infectious.
Thank you.
So I'm sure that's going to be super successful. I think that it's really interesting to think about. Like I feel like work could be, I mean, work can be one of the stressors of your life, right? But if you get together in a space and there's some things that help you be more healthy versus add to the stress of your life, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And the mental health piece of it, I think nobody's even started thinking about how to make that. I mean, you've got maybe a mother's room now or a prayer room, so there's a little bit of that kind of stuff where, and I know some of the buildings downtown have like sleep pods and different things, but really thinking about how the space, creates, can help you versus just be a job.
And we want people to feel important, whether you're in the office or you're working, example, on a construction site. We want those folks working on site to still have the same nourishments, the same options to be healthy and feel healthy. And there's been some local pioneers. I give a shout out to Gardner Builders for really investing in the health of their entire team. Truly, it's amazing what they're doing. These wellness pods on site, and no one wants to talk about the mental health declines within the construction world and the anxieties and the tensions and the stress. It's real, but no one really wants to dive deep into that. And that's what we're here for. We want to actually help make an impact and elevate your brand and your culture. I mean, we're not going to be your graphic designers by any means, but if we can help change the message of why don't people want to work here? Why are people leaving here? What is it? Like, is it we're not paying them, or like what are you not investing in their health? It's so that's
I think jobs were a commodity in my generation more so, and we all worked ourselves into craziness. And I know that the younger generation is like, this has got to incorporate into my life, and it's got to be. And now, even with all of the other things that have happened, adding value to that is really interesting. That's really interesting.
Is that really that true? I want to invest in you and make sure that you can do your best work and go home, but also feel excited to come back, and not that we have to be here 4 days a month or whatever it may be. Whether it's a hybrid, whatever the hybrid focus is. Organizations, or whether they say come back every day. The world is changing, and either you're going to jump on and be ready, or you're going to lose people, and that's legit.
It's pretty interesting because as spaces evolve and become better, I work with a bunch of companies that are like moving to nicer spaces that are more engaging, and some of the people that had said I want to stay remote are now like, oh, wait a minute, I want to come in. And we're like, well, we didn't plan for you to be in this space because you said you weren't going to be. And it's kind of a challenge. But boy, really imagining those spaces that are engaging and healthy. And
that's just it. The flexibility of, health. Come in and, we're not going to hose you down with Lysol when you walk in. But, like we want to make sure that you have everything you need.
Yeah.
We're partnering with a very unique company called Babylon Microfarms. They have vertical farms that they do the farming virtually. So you order pre-seeded pods, you drop them in this vertical farm, you scan a QR code, and it's all AI driven. So they do the farming. So let's say in a commercial setting, come back to work, but there's no good restaurants around here, and you don't want to bring your own food. So we can learn together, we can grow food together, we can have monthly competitions of, let's say, who can make the best salad. So we grow our greens, our basils. And it's like ordering K-Cups. You drop them in, and you grow together. And the ROI is insane. It's really cool. And blessed to meet these folks at the International Well Building Institute Summit in DC. And we've been attending these different well building summits all over the country, and been so inspired by these folks that share the same vision of creating healthy spaces. But come back and we can eat healthier. Therefore, we're more productive throughout the day.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not just the height adjustable desk and the ergonomic chairs, but it's what else can you do? I'm not spending $18 for a salad at the same time. And we can bring home food. So just weird, different, unique ways of incorporating these elements
elevating and integrating life and work.
Prime example, right down the hall, I saw the bevy machine. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's things like that a lot of people don't think about, but it does make an impact.
Well, I am super excited to see what you have planned for the future and how you can make our spaces, perform better and make us healthier and happier, really.
Absolutely. We're excited to share more. And there's a lot of, the nice thing about this industry too, it's always evolving, as you know, too. Every day is different. And that suits Evrsphere very well. So we're excited to jump on and see what we can do.
Well, I'm excited to watch you, and I got to get down to Harmony.
Yes, come on down to Harmony. I'll set you up with all the good places. You go here for this and that, cocktails here and there. So.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, John.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.